arms work just as hard as our legs. Fire up your triceps.
Your hips are dipping, always the option to come down to the knee.
Not as a weakness, but as a sense of strength, something that's empowering.
Namaste.
Hi yogis, Katy Gassaway here at my studio Body and Shine Wellness in Elgin, Texas. I received a lot of requests since we last shot for shoulder, chest, upper back type stretching. So we covered gorilla pose in the last video, and if you go back to my self-care series, there's also supported fish pose, which is another great heart opener, upper back stretch for those of us who kind of round forward a lot. And today we're going to be covering one of my favorite stretches for the chest and inner shoulder, which sometimes is called like supine scorpion or just a inner shoulder stretch on your belly. There's a lot of different names for it. Doesn't really matter what the name is, just matters that you do it and it feels good. So one thing I want to point out before we go down onto the mat is the angle of your arm. You want to try to have the arm right at shoulder height so that way we're stretching right along through here. What I tend to see happen a lot in class is sometimes people will drop the arm down either because the stretch is too intense, so they're trying to, alleviate some of the tension there. Instead of doing that, it's kind of better to try to keep the shoulder, or the arm rather, right at shoulder height and just don't roll over quite as far. Maybe it's just a little baby roll onto your side. Another thing I see is people who want to try to hold their hand, which is an option I'll show you guys. They'll drop their hand down so that it's easier to clasp the hands behind themselves. Don't worry about holding the hand. That's the least important part of this. The most important part is just stretching right through here in the upper chest and inner shoulder. So keeping that arm right at shoulder height. Sometimes, not as often, you'll see people go too far up with the arm. Again, you're just kind of losing the focus of the stretch there. It could potentially aggravate and pull on your shoulder a little bit if you're rolling onto your side like that, but you're just more importantly not going to get the stretch that we're going for. So just having the arm right at shoulder height. So with all that being said, let's go down onto our mats. You'll start on your belly, and you'll do this on both sides, but I'm just going to show you the one side. You'll take your arm out to a T, so right at shoulder height again. You can put the palm face down for a little bit more intensity, or you can do palm face up for a little bit less intensity and the option to be able to hold your own hand. You'll have the other hand right by your chest like you would in a baby cobra or something like that, and then you'll just gently start to roll over onto your side. So again, if you're feeling the tension or tightness, baby roll. Those of us who can go a little further, maybe the leg comes up and around, you kind of start to rest on your side. Maybe you go a little bit further, and then this is where you can maybe hold your own hand. So again, if you start dropping down like this to be able to grab the hand, better to keep the arm up high so that you're not losing that stretch. And if you can't quite grab the hand, but you want a little more opening through the chest, you can always just rest the hand on the low back or maybe towards the hip. Just holding and breathing, let your head relax down. If you want to have a blanket or a block to lay on, you can with the head. And then just when you're ready, coming back nice and slow, you'll switch to the other side. So that's the inner shoulder stretch. It's really nice. You can just kind of lay there, breathe into it, maybe 5 to 6 breaths, a little longer if you want to. And as you breathe, you might notice being able to roll over a little bit further. But again, don't rush it, don't force it, and don't cheat yourself of the stretch by having to drop that arm down. Try to keep it right there at shoulder level. So hopefully that'll help those of us who are having those tight shoulder issues. And give me more requests too. Be sure to check out the rest of my videos, subscribe, and maybe you'll see what you asked for the next time around. Thanks guys, have a great day.